Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your path straight." So tough times have a really funny way of showing us what our true, self is. Two people, this is like the best way that I can kind of put it into perspective, is two people can go through the exact same situation, person A and person B, and they can come out completely differently, based off of so many different factors. But one of the main things is kind of what's happening up here. And I know I mention it all the time and how our mind is actually very powerful, and that's why we really need to take care of it, and we really need to make sure that we are absorbing things that are good within our minds. But a lot of times our reactions to certain things, I had one person tell me one time that 99% of the things that they regret doing are because they've acted super quick, or they acted on such a strong emotion that they didn't take a time to step back and ask God for help inside of that moment, or for strength or for guidance to make, an appropriate decision. And that stuck with me for a very long time. I think I got told that maybe 6 years ago or something. Maybe I was in university, I can't remember. Maybe it was a little bit after, but either way, it doesn't matter. That stuck with me for so long. And I always thought that becoming a Christian would make trials not happen as often. I really thought so, but the Bible actually even says that that is not true. In John 16:33, it says, "These things I have spoken to you, so that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take courage, I have overcome the world." So becoming a Christian doesn't necessarily mean that all of these things that were happening to us won't happen anymore, or we won't really have any more hard times, because I'm sure the closer we get to God, the harder Satan is going to try to tear us apart. The closer, okay, I want to make sure I said that properly. So Satan's going to try to tear us apart and take us away from God. But there is a comfort that I do have when I think about things such as trials and tribulations. And that is understanding that God is in control of it all. He has the ultimate control over what is kind of going on if I allow him to have it. And a lot of times before, I used to always want to take control of my situation. I had a very hard time with accepting things that were not in my control, especially with things that are happening right now. I'm thinking of certain things that are happening in my life, and I'm like, I just wish that I could change certain things, or make this person do something so that it could affect this thing, and then eventually it will benefit this situation that I'm going through. So there's so many different things that I wish I could control, but in the end I have to remember that I have to leave that to God. I'm not God. He can do a better job than me, and I just have to accept that and have faith that he will do so. And one of the things when it comes to trials that I did have a hard time with before is I always tried to determine what was making this trial happen. Was this something that God was kind of did he initiate it? Did he take this thing out of my life, or put this thing in my life to challenge me? Or was I getting too close to God, or is Satan really trying to mess my relationship up with God? And so he started this. That's what I was trying to do for so long. And honestly, the more I thought about it, the worse it made the situation, because I was trying to find something to blame. Over time, I started to realize that that's not what my main focus should be on. To be completely honest, it doesn't matter, in my opinion, where it was initiated. It's more of okay, so this did happen, whether or not Satan is trying to really either make me super comfortable, which is also, I guess, dangerous, or he's also trying to make me feel super shaken up, or is God trying to teach me something right now? But in the end, I think that the decisions that I make after the trials have already started, or while it's in the midst of it, is who am I going to turn to now? Now I have that choice, and this is the part for me that really matters, is within this trial or this thing that's happening to me, or these troubling times, who am I going to turn to for comfort? Am I going to turn to the world to try to comfort me, to help me through it, or myself? Or am I going to turn to God and allow him, no matter what, to have control over this situation? For me, the one thing that's so important is the lesson that God is going to teach me in that moment, and how I'm going to be able to grow as a person, and how I'm going to be able to grow my character, which is the thing that's super important that I want to take with me to eternity. Psalms 46 verse 1 says, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. And one of the things that I just really need to know to lean on, especially in times of, I like calling it trials. So in times of trial, I have to remember that God is my source of strength, always, and my source of comfort and my source of guidance. Literally everything He is able to provide for me to help me get through it. And the more things that I've gone through, even though becoming a Christian, I thought that I was going to have less of the trials, I found that even though I still constantly do have trials and things, the closer I am to God and the closer my relationship is, it doesn't mean that the trials hurt any less, but I'm so thankful for the lessons that I've learned through those and the person that the trials and God's, grace has made me become. Like, it's a very different perspective change. I think that's honestly overall what it is I learned to change my perspective of what trials are, and a lot of hard times. Instead of being like, oh, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Instead, I'm trying to say like, okay, well, like, why not? Like, is there something that I'm missing? Or what is God able to give to me in this moment? Like, how can He teach me to grow and become a better person from this? And you know what? Sometimes could have nothing to do with me. And I think that this is probably one of the most powerful things for me is sometimes I feel like I might go through something for someone else. So what I mean by that is I could be going through something right now to learn something, but to help somebody else later on down the road who might go through the exact same thing. So I try to think of trials as not being something super, all about me, and trying to figure out why this is happening to me. But I've been trying to think of more about, okay, God. I'm trying to think about God first. So what can God, teach me right now? Like, what can I do for God right now in this moment that can help me grow as a person to be better for Him? And then I'm also thinking for other people as well. Like, what am I doing right now that I could, maybe teach somebody else down the road? So I don't know, this whole idea of trials, like, it's so hard, and especially in times like these when there's so much stuff, again, I mentioned it so many times, like, such uncertain times. There's so many things that are not in our control, and it's very frustrating. But I think to look at it from a biblical perspective and trying to really lean on God and His promises, because for trials and really hard times, the Bible is full of them. There's so many things of comfort that God gives us to help us get through trials that I find it hard sometimes to not feel comforted. But I have to take that initial first step to be able to go and search for those truths. So it does take work on our part, but in the end, the things that come out of it are blessings. They really can be. So although sometimes we can really struggle with certain things that are happening within our lives, or certain unknowns and certain situations that are going on around us, things that aren't in our control, some things that might be in our control, but we just need some guidance to try to make the right decisions. No matter what, we have to always remember that we can be those people who accept God's comfort and His guidance and His strength to be able to become fearless Christians and just to fully and wholly trust in God. So I'm not sure if there's something that you're going through right now that might feel very, very hard, and it might feel like, I don't know, the world is coming down on you, the whole world is against you. But I do want to encourage you to really turn to God and talk to Him in prayer, and just ask Him how He can really show you something about Him and reveal Himself to you in this situation, and to guide you to make any decisions or the next right steps, because He will be able to provide that for you. And search the Bible for some comforting truths, because it really, really is full of them. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.